So, hmm. I'm not going to laugh. Don't laugh, Jaws. There's no laughing. It's not funny. It's not funny. Leaf fans are people too.
The Florida Panthers have won the Stanley Cup.
Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go! Go!
Puck drop. And 3, 2, 1.
Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go! Go!
Hi, Panther fans. Should we? Come on. That's pretty good. Game 5. Leafs, Panthers, although what's left of the Leafs. Apparently, what happened when Toronto went to Florida was, from what I've heard, Colin Campbell actually paid Dr. Fauci to come get all of the Leaf players sick, and so that way the Panthers would have an advantage. There's articles about the whole thing and everything. It's really a true conspiracy. So, that's the rumor. That's what we're being told anyway, that the Leafs players are sick. I believe it. I can understand that happens from time to time when the Panthers go up north, but that's usually like February, and I know how we look when we're sick. So it is what it is, right? We all have to deal with those types of things. How is Toronto responding? I didn't look at the exact changes, but they're making some lineup changes, switching the lines around, and that's probably pretty smart. This one's going to kind of come down to coaching. There's been 4 games that have all just kind of... There hasn't been like one complete game played. Well, I guess game 4 kind of was. And what I mean was a game that finished the way it started. A lot of the other games have kind of been chaotic with one team dominating and the other one dominating. Game 4 was pretty much solid all the way through. So let's see if Florida can continue to do that. Obviously, the elephant in the room is that whoever wins today, the next game is an elimination game 4. Whoever loses, most people kind of thought this was going 7. If it's going to go 7, I'd probably rather win tonight. If it's going to go 7, if we have no choice, I'd rather win tonight. That way we know we can win game 7 on the road. We're going to need a game from Bubba. Give Bubba his head scratching, right? I asked Bubba to steal the last game, and he played well enough to steal it. He didn't necessarily need to steal it, so we'll keep that arrow in the... Where we're going to keep the arrow. What do you call the thing that the arrows stay in? I don't know. I go fishing. All right, so no overtime. Can we do that tonight, please? No overtime. I had a nap. Feeling good. Panthers. Champs. All right, so 1-0 Panthers after 1. Excellent period of play if you're a Florida Panther fan, that's for sure. You'd like to see 4 or 5 more goals go in the back of the net, considering the number of shots. I think it was 14-4 before Toronto got their power play here. Very, very similar to the last game. Joseph Woll is staying on his head. The Panthers are kind of dominating-ish. Like to see a few more go into the net. Past that, it's still anybody's game. Anything can happen. Florida, just continue to take care of your business here. So, it's 4-0 Florida after 2. Ekblad got the first one. Let's see if I can remember. In the first period, and then Mikula Kulikov and Jesper Boqvist, who, if you all came to the noon stream today, you know I was irritated, aggravated, and frustrated that Boqvist was on the top line, but I did follow it up by saying, well, maybe now he'll score. So, I'm going to be intellectually honest here, Toronto fans. Now, I don't know if the team is sick. We've heard those rumors and innuendo. I'm not a doctor. I don't believe anything I see anywhere. But what I will say is that occasionally the Panthers have a game or two like this where we're getting waxed in like February, right? And we're going to Canada and we'll just get absolutely obliterated. Usually it's, up when we're playing the Western teams. And when they come back, we find out, it was a virus going through the locker room. I'm not making excuses for Toronto. Lord knows I don't want to agree with Steve Dangle. But, I mean, come on. Either the entire team has basically quit, or half of those guys are just gutting it out and sick. I mean, it's one of those two options. You could pick one. Florida's doing their job. They look great. But either Toronto has just quit and lost the will to try, or they're completely like puking up in the locker room during the intermission. So, that said, finish it. Finish this, Florida, okay? 4-1 can turn into oopsies 4-2 real fast. No. Finish this sucker up. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 3. That's 3. That's 3. That's as much celebrating as we're going to do. Now, what we're going to have to do here, because we don't want the Panthers thinking that their shit don't stink, we've got to find complaints. All right? Marchand didn't score. That's a complaint. I don't think Barkov scored either. Right? What is it? We got 17 guys that have gotten goals so far in these playoffs. Just absolutely, like I said in the last period, I am not somebody that wants to make an excuse for Toronto. Obviously, I want to say champs and we whooped ass and all of that. But how can they not be sick? How can they not just all be like violently ill? Because the alternative, let's just take the possibility that they're sick, that we'll put that over here. Okay, we'll just take that over here because I believe that's a possibility. However, if they're not, what? Like, the alternative is if they're not violently ill and playing with fevers and throwing up at intermission and Hershey's squirting, if that's not what's going on, how, on what planet, in what galaxy, what universe could you explain that level of effort at home in Game 5, the first time you've won a couple of games in round 2 since before Steve Dangle made videos? So, I don't know. We have people coming to the chat asking, if the Leafs lose, what are they going to do with the core? It's one game. I don't care if it was 6-1. It could have been 2-1. It doesn't matter. It's one game. The series is 3-2. How many do you need to win? 4. How many did we beat? How many in a row did we win against, who the hell was we playing? Edmonton last year? 3. And what did we do after Game 3? We said, hey, we're champs. When's the sign going to get delivered, right? And then it was 3-1. We'll win it at home. Don't worry about it. Yeah, we won it at home. Game 7, 2-1. Sucking air at the end of the game with Edmonton desperate to tie it. Go watch the last 5 minutes of that game. There's at least 3 pucks. I don't know how they didn't even go into the net, okay? It's Colin Campbell had remote control in the puck. So the point is that we've got a lead in this series. That's nice, especially considering we were down 0-2 and Toronto had a 3-1 lead in that game at home on us. And since then, the entire Leaf team has just collapsed. Like, there's nothing else to say. Now, I haven't finished the collapse yet. They could come back Game 6, pull off a couple of miracles, bad couple bounces, Panthers don't take it seriously, and we could end up at Game 7 in Toronto. So I ain't counting any chickens just yet. But since they were up 3-1 in that game to now, how is it possible? How do you just like... So what do we see on the ice? Well, I complained about Boquist, so he got a goal and assist, so we're good there. Reinhart and Barkov still looking the same pretty much. Tkachuk actually playing pretty well now. I don't know what his injury situation is. He still doesn't look like he's skating 100%, obviously, but he's not so much the defensive liability that he was earlier on in the playoffs, certainly not earlier on in the series. Hagee still looks good. Third line was quiet, but just doing their job, and the fourth line has been all over the place, and it was very quiet tonight. I mean, there were some There was some scrums and some minor stuff, but there wasn't any really egregious. I don't think we have a controversial hit. We shouldn't. Toronto fans, I should not have to wake up tomorrow morning to texts from people talking about Reddit conspiracy theories of something that the Panthers did last night. Okay? Save it. Save it. Right? For frickin' hell, right? For one game, you cannot make up shit that the Panthers did to make it why Toronto lost. They lost because they played like ass. Why they played like ass? That's up for debate, but they played like ass. So we shouldn't have any controversy after this game. In terms of the defense, again, I'm actually glad they got the goal. Because every 5 minutes it was Bobrovsky hasn't allowed a goal in 18 years, and the scoreless streak is like 5. I mean, it's just, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it at the beginning of Game 6, because usually if they start giving those stats at the beginning of a game, oh, look, a puck's in the back of the net. So I'm actually happy that they busted their nut there with 1 minute left in the third period, instead of coming out Game 6 in the first period and be like, we got to prove we can score a goal. You already did, so sit down the rest of the way. So there's that. And then Bubba. Now, Bubba had to make some saves tonight. Nothing really overly. I think he must have made 30 saves, 28, 30 saves. None of them were really extremely high danger chances. There was one breakaway. He made one breakaway. I think it was Nylander had a breakaway earlier on. Bob made that save. And whatever we did from the time that we were giving up all those breakaways to the time that I guess we just started keeping 2 men back on defense. It seems like such a stupid. It seems like it would have been stupid to get down 0-2 because we weren't leaving 2 defensemen back. You follow what I'm saying? But that appears to be the change that we've made, and that's what happened if you watch them play properly, you'll see when the defenseman pinches, one forward will just start backing off, so that if it comes out of the zone, there's 2 players back, and we've just been pretty much perfect. I don't even know if there was a 2-on-1 tonight. Was there a 2-on-1 tonight for Toronto? I don't think so. I don't think there was. Jeez. So we got it. We got Game 5. That's nice. It's nice. But this is what we're after. Okay? I don't want to get ahead of myself, but we are allowed to talk what if, since now we're in a position where if we win the next game, the team is eliminated and we move on. So our prize, should we move on Friday, is a date with the Carolina Hurricanes, who apparently are going to just evaporate the Washington Capitals all over the place. They look toast. The Capitals look toast. So there's no hopscotch and rainbows here, right? That would be a really, really tough series. And, of course, there's some people feeling like, well, if Toronto was sick, maybe Florida gets sick. But maybe, not making things up now, admittedly, right? I'm not like making things up and presenting it to you as fact like Dangle would. I'm just making something up. But maybe the Panthers weren't feeling all so good those first couple of games, and that's why we played like ass, and then we got Toronto sick. I don't know. Or it could have been a bug that was already in the locker room that our guys kind of already had immunity to, right? You know, and then so Toronto's got it. I honestly, full disclosure, like, on a human level, I hope they're sick. Because the alternative to them just being all deathly ill is so bad. It's so bad. To think that they would not be sick, but they put that performance on the ice. I don't even know what to say about that. They've got to be throwing up right before game time. It's got to be. It can't be anything else. So, I mean, I know Florida's playing well. I'm not trying to take anything away from my own team, but come on. 6-1 and at this time of the year, come on. That's just something not right with that. And if they're not sick, then just blow it up, I guess. I don't know. Of course, you guys could still win Game 6 and Game 7. The series not over, Jaws. The series not over. I know it's a big win. It's nice. I don't care. 4. That's the number we're after. 4. Okay? After what we did with Edmonton last year, I ain't counting to 4 until there's 4. Okay? All right? We don't want to have any of that, Whoops-a-daisy, now we're game 7 in Toronto. No. Come out on Friday and just pound them. Just absolutely pound them. So, all right. That's it. There's no there's nothing to analyze. It was just a good old-fashioned ass whooping. It was ass whooping. I mean, it wasn't even an ass whooping. Because like an ass whooping implies that there's like, I don't even know what you call that. A drowning. Right? Like it was a drowning. Ass whooping is just like, that's too violent. This wasn't even violent. This was just like, go to sleep. Just go under the water and just stay there. I mean, that was just bad. That was one of the worst hockey games I've seen a playoff team play in quite some time. So, we'll take it. We're still the champs. Friday, finish it. Finish it on Friday. I want to hear it. Okay? Ryan Reed, you can still say something in the comments, though. Tell me how the Canes are going to beat us. All right? All right, everybody, I'll be live tomorrow for your viewing pleasure. I will have a members podcast out tomorrow. My apologies, I haven't had as many members podcasts out as I would like. I'm trying to salvage my voice a little bit with all the streaming. When Kyle and I do the late games like we did last night, it gets a little bit rough. So, I appreciate everybody coming out to the streams, leaving all the tremendous super chats. Y'all keeping the lights on, keep the food on the table, keep Kyle full of alcohol. It's a beautiful thing. All right, I'll see you tomorrow at noon. And then, oh, God, we got to stream Caps and King. Do we have to stream the Capitals and Canes game? I'm going to have to get Kyle so drunk to do that. Watch Washington win. Can we have one good game in that series? Like 6-5 Washington and over. Can we have one good game in that series? Please. Please. All right, I'll see you tomorrow at noon.